Welcome to Legends, a series that delves into the lore within Horizon Forbidden West. For anyone who's experienced Aloy's journey in this remarkable world, mystery is an ever-present force, driving the many compelling stories the series is known for. From revealing the planet's doom and rebirth, to the source of the signal that brought down Gaia, each answer we uncover seems to leave us with only more questions. For many, there's one great mystery that remains unsolved, that's kept us guessing since we took our first steps with Aloy in 2017. The enigmatic AI, Vast Silver. Now, even if you've been a devout fan of the series, it would be completely understandable if you've never heard of VS while playing through the games or reading the guides or comics. Everything we've come to know concerning the AI only comes from a handful of data points gathered across Zero Dawn, the Frozen Wilds, and Forbidden West, all of which only offer us small and cryptic clues as to what it truly was, or is. So why has this incredibly niche subject in the game's expansive lore captivated the imagination of so many? For myself at least, it really boils down to its importance in giving context to where Horizon's story began, and potentially help us predict where it might be going. As we begin, here are the most important points to note when it comes to discussing Vast Silver. First, Vast Silver was created as a climate regulation AI in response to the die-off of the 2030s, a climate crisis that led to over 1 billion lives lost, and leaving those who survived displaced as refugees, as their homes were claimed beneath rising sea levels or deemed uninhabitable from scorching temperatures. Second, Vast Silver would reach a level of sentience far beyond anything that came before, a point in history that would represent humanity crossing the threshold of the technological singularity, an era where artificial intelligence surpassing that of human intelligence was no longer theoretical, but an irreversible reality. Third, in 2044, towards the beginning of the Clawback decade, for reasons still not fully understood, Vast Silver escaped. Though records are conflicting, VS was supposedly recaptured and nullified soon after. This debacle would lead to the passing of the Turing Act, establishing strict limits on the sentience of machine intelligences. Finally, after its capture, multiple testimonies from across the HoloNet would claim they had interacted with an entity claiming to be Vast Silver, putting the official testimony that it was nullified into question. Before the fall of humanity, there were those who believed its nullification to be a cover-up, and that Vast Silver was still out there. Its creation not only provided the most profound breakthrough in AI the world had ever known, but simultaneously hamper further advancements in the field, as its escape would force future AIs to either be gated from future self-actualization or be under constant scrutiny from the MIE, a regulatory body founded by the Turing Act to ensure they did not exceed the established legal limit for sentience. Despite their best efforts, some AI that came after would exceed the permitted 0.6 Turing score. The Caldera of Yellowstone Analytic Nexus, overseer of the Firebreak facility, was created knowing it would need a higher level of sentience to successfully accomplish its intended mission, a fact that was purposely concealed from the MIE. Later, Dr. Sobek would flagrantly ignore these regulations in creating Gaia, eventually giving birth to what we can assume to be the new benchmark for recorded sentience in an AI. All these events are certainly important in establishing context to Horizon's past, but what most are really interested in is how Vast Silver may play into Horizon's future. It's referenced in the Forbidden West data point, Revisiting the Mind Upload, discussing how its mere existence may have inspired Peter Shimvumbe, founder of Far Zenith, to dedicate vast amounts of time and resources to achieving digital transcendence, work that would eventually lay the path for the creation of Nemesis centuries later. So, is there a way the two might be connected in the final chapter of Aloy's journey? Before we attempt to answer that, I'd like to revisit an earlier exploration of mine, where I attempted to see a key element of our story from a new perspective. In 2017, in one of my first videos, I was attempting to decipher the true intent of Hades in the Unknown Transmission. I was fascinated and convinced that a particular data point, Hades Protocol, held the elusive answers I was looking for. Though that eventual line of reasoning didn't come to fruition, I was right about one thing. That particular data point was critically important to where Horizon's story was headed. My focus was just in the wrong place. This entry from Alpha Travis Tate wasn't the key to understanding Gaia's fall, but in fact, her resurrection. Only with the clear perspective granted from Forbidden West could you see that the testing being described was between multiple iterations of Gaia and her subfunction to find that Goldilocks solution to make their adversarial relationship work. Tests that unfolded in the Hades Proving Lab, where Aloy would eventually find a kernel of the AI and inevitably bring a new Gaia back online. With this in mind, I thought I should take another look at a data point I've examined many times from Zero Dawn. One that still provides some of the most critical information concerning Vast Silver. Turing Act Criticized. It describes the AI's escape, subsequent legislation, founding of the MIE, and the scrutiny the Act faced some 16 years later for its biocentric view of sentience in a post-biological world. Once again, knowing what we know now, some aspects stand out more than they did in the past. Before, I found myself on the fence as to whether VS, if still active, would lean more towards friend or foe. It certainly has had a checkered past with humanity, its decision to escape, the fear it felt as it developed complex emotion, and its potential treatment while in captivity. On the other hand, it was created as a means to protect the world against another climate crisis, and has shown a desire to connect with humanity when it's had the opportunity. There is, however, one element of Vast Silver's story that, to me, has taken on more importance given the grave threat that Horizon's world now faces. Those within Aloy's inner circle will soon face an enemy more dangerous and far different than any before: Nemesis. Up till now, Aloy has been able to uncover some critical piece of information to tackle whatever threat she's had to face. Alpha and Omega clearance when thwarting the efforts of Hades and Hephaestus, hidden knowledge provided by Nemesis through Silence in order to defeat Far Zenith. But with Nemesis, we're dealing with a threat that has no ties to the hierarchy of Zero Dawn systems, and also laid waste to Far Zenith on the very colony they created. So, what trump card could Aloy possibly find on Earth to have any chance to bring down Nemesis? Previously, we've seen Silence capture the memory of a weakened Hades after the Battle of the Elite, and hold it through brutal interrogation. Hephaestus, unprepared for the labor of battling two operators of Ted Pharaoh's Omega clearance, was able to be captured into one of the two cores of Cauldron Gemini. A process, if left uninterrupted, would have allowed Gaia to reabsorb the subfunction after all its malicious code had been manually removed. Though both of these feats are remarkably impressive considering their circumstances, they both, in my opinion, would fall short if implemented in some way against Nemesis. There's no evidence a ZD clearance level would affect it, and I don't think Gaia could or should absorb it, as this could result in her being absorbed herself or irreversibly damaged by the malicious AI. As to the lore that we can examine at this moment, there's only one instance on record where humanity was able to successfully subdue a rogue superhuman artificial intelligence. And now, roughly 1,000 years after that event, there's only one entity who could attest to how exactly that was achieved. This is now where I believe Vast Silver's story to be headed. While we may have been focused on its potential capabilities, means of escape, and if it still remains functional in the 31st century, I don't think we've put nearly enough importance on the means of its capture. And when you're dealing with, at the time, the most intelligent being in existence, putting it in a cage is no small feat. With what we've witnessed in the frozen wilds with Cyan and the original Gaia, powerful artificial intelligence has proven its ability to endure from the world of the old ones into Horizon's present. If it's still out there, the real test now will be finding the singularity, as the knowledge of its containment could prove to be the only hope for Earth's survival. Hopefully, from what we've heard before, Vast Silver is still willing and wanting to be found. And that brings our journey to an end. If you'd like to see more content like this, likes and shares are always appreciated, and if you're hungry for more Horizon lore, consider subscribing and checking out the rest of our lore library. Also consider supporting the channel on Patreon, so we can keep making content just like this. Check out the link in the description. And as always, thanks for watching, and keep questing.